about DSP block of FMCW radar module that we are going to make. Can you change the slide? So today's agenda will be like, first of all, we will see what are the different algorithms and approaches that we can use for this. Like we have done some literature reviews on this, so we'll presenting those one. And like second thing we'll be presenting is what are the practical problems and like why are we facing those. And third thing will be what are the possible solutions to rectify those problem and all those things.
Okay, so there is one method of time domain method which is not using the frequency domain analysis, not the effective one, to find the beat frequency. This method is actually using the beat frequency signal and its derivative. We will take the ratio of both of that for the specific time period less than the chip time period, and summation over few samples. From that we are getting the range, the value of range, but it has some benefits. It is less complex, and but it has one major disadvantage. That's why we cannot use for this application, because it is only useful for single target and for the stationary object. The velocity we can't find out from this method. It is very many benefits like the periodicity, characteristics of error, in increasing range, lower computational complexity, frequency domain stuff is not there. But the major disadvantage is there. That's why we can't use for our application.
Yeah, so some of the practical issues that are there in FMCW radar modules I've presented in this slide. So for automotive applications, generally multi-target detection is a crucial task, as we won't generally be driving in an open field. So there will be many different targets that need to be identified. For multi-target detection, there is actually a range velocity angle ambiguity problem, which we will discuss in the next slides, which will cause uh, ghost targets, missed targets, and some unreliable angle information. And another obvious practical issue is the clutter and noise present. Yeah, so this is a working principle of the FMCW radar module that we discussed in the previous presentation. So, like these equations can be used to find out the range and velocity values for a single target, single moving target. Yeah, so now talking about the range resolution, we know that the frequency resolution of of DFT or FFT is Fs by n, where Fs is a sampling rate and n is the number of samples. So that can be we can write that as 1 by Tc. Yeah. So after that, by writing delta F is greater than 1 by Tc, we can derive the resolution of the range resolution to be C by 2b. So resolution will be improved if the bandwidth is high. Now, velocity resolution can also be found in a similar way. So if you are using like single chirps separated by Tc, then the velocity resolution can be derived to be lambda by 2 Tf, where Tf is the total frame time considered. Now, let us talk about range velocity plots. These are very important for like understanding the concept of ghost targets. So now let us, if we consider a multi-target setting where there is more than one target, and we transmit a single up chip. So we get as many number of distinct beat frequencies as there are number of targets, and so that so we can express that in the form of a equation like this. So for every beat frequency kappa, we will get a particular straight line which can be represented like this. So if there are two targets, then we get two straight lines in the RV space. Yeah. So now, as we can see, if they for the up and down chips, we get four different lines, which even the down chip has similar straight line equations. So there are totally 4 points of intersection. but there are only two objects. So the other 2 points of intersection correspond to like imaginary or ghost targets, and this causes the range velocity ambiguity problem. Like we can't find the range and velocity simultaneously by using just an up and down chip. Like it causes 4 different possible combinations.
Now we will see the how to estimate the angle from the object. So first thing is we need at least 2 antenna at the receiver to measure the angle. Single antenna can't measure the angle. So assume we have 2 antenna at the receiver. So we can see in the graph that the second wave upcoming at the receiving antenna has some d sin theta extra traveling distance. That d sin theta extra traveling distance can cause a phase difference. This corresponding to first traveling wave at the first receiving antenna. From this phase difference, we can find the angle, and the formula is mentioned here: theta equal to sin inverse L omega by 2 pi d, where omega is the phase difference which we can measure from the FFT plot, and L is the wavelength of the transmitted wave. And as we can consider phase difference, the maximum value of phase difference is pi. The maximum theta angle which we can measure is sin inverse L by 2d. Why are we considering omega to pi is because there are positive and the negative both angles are there, and if it is more than pi, it is a misconfusion in the measurement. So we are only considering 0 to pi. So for the multiple object, we can find the angle like this. Assume this, we can see in the plot that this red and blue object are at same range for this radar, and assume the velocity is also same, so we can get the same point in all the receiving antenna RV plot, but the phase is different. We can see at each and every receiver. So if we take the FFT of the sequence of phasor corresponding to peak value of this frequency, so we can find this omega 1 and omega 2 phase of these both objects, and from that we can find the angle. And the angle resolution, this also can be find out the similar way which we show now, range resolution and velocity resolution, from that frequency resolution part. Yeah, so this is the formula of angle resolution, and generally it is measured at d equal to L by 2 and theta equal to 0 angle. D is the distance between two receiving antennas. So the resolution formula will become the 2 by n, where n is the number of the receiving antennas. And this resolution degrades as the angle is increasing. That's clear from this formula.
Yeah, so now some of the possible solutions for high performance multi-target detection. The main idea is ghost target mitigation and also clutter reduction, as well as higher update time. So because we need like faster updates in many automotive applications. So what are some of the possible options? So in literature, there have been many complex chip waveforms that have been suggested in order to mitigate this problem of ghost targets. But that actually increases the RF overload at the transceiver end. So there is actually a trade-off that exists here between the RF overloading, update time, and ghost target mitigation. So these three need to be taken into consideration when we are like designing an approach.
As we can see that the complex chip method we can't use because of RF overloading. There were another method of 3-segment that is called the 3-segment method proposed in that literature. So what we are doing in that, we are using the up chip and down chip for the T1 time period, and the other up chip for the verification purpose for the T2 time period, that is at the different slope value. So from the first and the second chip, second segment, we are finding the range and the velocity, and we are verifying with the third segment. and checking if there is a ghost target or not. How are we doing that? That is shown here. So these are the three formulas corresponding to each chip: FBU, FB up, FB down, and this FBC is for the verification one. So from the FBU and FBD, we can find the range and the velocity. This range and velocity can be put in the third formula FBU, and we are getting F cap BC. Now, what we are doing is this FBU and FB cap, we are comparing, we are taking the difference and comparing with one threshold value. If this difference is less than 0, that will be the real target. If it is threshold difference is greater than, sorry, there is a threshold epsilon, there is some writing mistake. If this difference is less than threshold value, it's a real target, and if greater than 0, it is the ghost target. And this threshold is can be calculated from that one graph is given in the net literature review.
Yeah, so this is the overall proposed multi-target detection architecture that it's mentioned in the one of the paper. So this basically involves the three-segment approach that Prince explained just now, and it has a pairing part, that is the first two chips we get the R and V values, and a verification part for ghost target removal. So as Amrit, like some of the research that Amrit did, like this might be possible to be done with the transceiver like ICs that we are planning to use. And so this detection block, it consists of the normal FFT and an approach called CFAR method, constant false state alarm, and a different approach for angle estimation. So why do we need a different approach for like a better approach for angle estimation is the similar problem of overlapping beat frequencies even exists in the case of angle estimation. That we are resolving for range and velocity by using the three-segment method. But in order to distinguish different overlapping beat frequencies and their corresponding azimuthal angles, we an approach called minimum norm method is very popularly used in this case. So this actually removes the unreliability of the angle information. But this minimum norm method can be very computationally expensive if there are a lot of many objects and many overlapping beat frequencies. So in this paper, the spatial filter is proposed before the minimum norm to reduce the data load in minimum norm method.
Okay, so like in the diagram above, we have seen like there is something OS CFAR, which is like CFAR stands for constant false alarm rate detection. What it basically does is like it uses an algorithm to like detect target against the background noise and clutter interference. Like see this second point we can see like to obtain CFAR, we provide a threshold that reflects the local clutter situation, like the background noise and all that. And from this, we can find out like our original signal, which is there. Uh, this this helps in discarding the frequency which we don't need, like the frequencies of corresponding noise and clutter. So like we have some alternate techniques for finding the peaks, and like there are some other methods also instead of DFT that we can use. So these are the four things that we will see. First one is gradient search method. It is one of the peak detection method. So as like from the name itself, we can see what it does is search for a gradient. Like there are two tabs in this. One is gradient descent and another is gradient ascent. Like from the name we can see gradient descent is search for local minima. It gives you the value of local minima. What it does is if we are at a point A, it will search for the least slope, like a steepest slope in decreasing direction, and it will move to that point. And doing this, finally it will reach to a minima. and will give the value of that minima. Similarly, in gradient ascent method, instead of finding the minima going towards the minimum slope, we go towards the maximum slope, eventually reaching the highest slope and giving the value of like peak or valley, whatever we need. Yeah. So, and second one is curve fitting method. We all know about this. It is just like representing a given function in form of another function, in sum of other functions like exponential, sum of sines, all that, so that we can like analyze it more easily. Yeah. And this multiple signal classification, we also refer it as music. So this is like an alternative for FFT. So it is mostly used for angle detection part only. So what it does is use methods based on eigenvectors, like the sensor array we have, we take autocorrelation from it, which we can use to determine the spectral density. So this has many different types. One of them is spectral music. In this, what we do is first we take autocorrelation of the sensor data, and from that we get an array, 2D array. And from that 2D array, we can calculate eigenvalues and their respective eigenvectors. So what we do is like take the p greatest eigenvalues and their corresponding eigenvectors, and then we from that we can separate this array into two parts. One will be noise part and another will be noise plus signal. And in one paper which I saw, they proved it that both of these are orthogonal. So when we multiply those two, what we are going to get is the original signal only. The noise part will get cancelled. From that, we can analyze the spectrum and find angle or whatever we want to find. Yeah. And this is the chip Z transform method. Like it basically use interpolation techniques to get the spectrum. It has low computational complexity compared to DFT, and it also increases the frequency resolution with like introducing an extra phase. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. One second. Go to the first one.
One.
From first slide onwards. Once again, you come back. Okay. Go to the next one. Okay. So, in our project, how many target? Because that we have to be very clear. How many target, whether we are going to model clutters, noise, because real scenario, we are not going to work on it. Okay. So we are going to have some 2 or 3 vehicles. For example, model
Ma'am,
it,
your
okay,
voice is
near to
breaking.
that, and you can move away. Hello, now it's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Now it's okay.
So we are going to see as a project wise. So if we are doing the radar part, okay. So we are going to test with the 2 or 3 obstacles as if it is very closer to us. Closer to 2 targets are very closer and one is away. So clutter, noise and all we are not going to model, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in that case, you are telling one issue is FFT, you are not planning to go for it, right?
No, ma'am. That was actually some of the literature review part, ma'am. But we can use FFT, ma'am, in our case.
See, one thing is, you people were discussing about the time domain one, and you told with single target, and the target should be a
Stationary,
not moving one, stationary, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So can we make? Why is there from that algorithms or one from the derivation? Have you find any provision that we can have a multi-target? For a multi-target, whether we can identify or not. Because in FFT, if you take, if the 2 targets are very close to each other, the n should be obviously we have to take more number of points. Okay, then only we can resolve to target if they are very close to each other.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Another one, so n for our receiver, whether we are fixing it or not, that also we have to see.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, the processing, because the processing time, as sir already told, so within one chip itself, we have to identify the target, that is beat frequency, all computation we have to do within one chip itself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when we are adding more complexity here, is it possible to do? Because you are talking about music and all. So music, if you are talking, their angle of arrival only we are trying to find out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, with the angle of arrival, what is the conclusion we are going to come with? What is the need of the angle of arrival?
Ma'am, like if there is an object which is two objects at same range and same velocity, but a different angle of arrival, we can use that, ma'am. Actually, music is an alternative method to that minimum norm method, ma'am. That is used in the other paper that we were talking about. So actually, to reduce that complex the computation complexity and time taken for computation, they propose one spatial filter, ma'am, for that case.
Yeah, along with spatial filter, they complexity
Spatial
can be
filtering
reduced.
is nothing but one matrix. That is one matrix only. Matrix we are multiplying, going to multiply with a vector, because all antenna data we are making it as a vector, and we will be multiplying with your filter matrix, and we will be getting. That is simple
Yes.
task.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
those are simple tasks. So now for our project to make it realistic,
Yes, ma'am.
what are the one we are going to define? That is, I'm going to show them a two target if it is very closer. I'm going to show in my spectrum or in the output that I could able to resolve. If both the target are moving with the same speed or different speed, I can show it as the output. So
Yes,
this
ma'am.
part you define. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
because our challenging task here is the hardware,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
right? Not in the software. Hardware, how feasible we are going to bring, that is within one chip, whether we could able to do it fast. To make it fast, what we have to do? Because have you seen the format of number of chip coming in this one? Amrit, you know, right, that format,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
right? So in it is like not a chirp we are going to play around it, as a packet only it is going to come. So in a packet there will be some n number of chirp will be there. Okay, based on that chirp we are going to process the signal.
Ma'am, like for increasing the resolution, we can do like one more thing. We can cascade like two transceivers. So number of transmitter and like increasing number of receivers will also like increase our resolution.
Yes, obviously, because two data set we are getting, but with hardware, it is fixed, right? Only
Yes, ma'am.
4 antennas and 2 for transmitters and 4 for receiver, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so that is fixed.
Okay, like for if we cascade like so, if we cascade two antennas, so like the data will be like will come in different packets or like in one packet only.
All the packet at a time, all antenna will be receiving.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, whatever we are transmitting from the transmitter, all the antenna will be receiving at the same time at the same frequency.
Yes, ma'am.
It is like we are processing a array.
Okay.
Okay, so one more thing is, when we are moving from other than FFT,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so first one we have to see how we are going to find the range, because music algorithm, it is going to give you the angle information.
Angle of arrival. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, range information, for example, if you are using a time domain, that will give a range, or if you are using FFT, that is going to give you a range as well as velocity.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so which one we have to fix? I have sent you
ma'am.
one document, right, in that Texas.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
That
Yes,
itself we can fix. No
Yes,
need
ma'am.
to go
It
for
is
much in the algorithm.
okay, ma'am.
Okay, so FFT part we are going to fix. How
ma'am.
they are taking 2D FFT, 3D FFT, that is the one we have to concentrate.
Okay, ma'am. Like we can add one more thing, like
Ah.
ghost detection thing that we can add here, right? Like adding that extra chip.
See, whenever you are using ghost detection thing, how
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
going to prove practically, that you tell me, which setup you are going to create to say it is a ghost.
Ma'am, actually, we can, if we have two objects, ma'am,
Hmm.
like without using this method, we'll get four different, four different combinations, ma'am, of two beat frequencies.
Yeah, we can measure a range, two range and two velocity value, each corresponding to which we don't know. Then there will be four combinations. To eliminate the other two, we are using this ghost target method.
No, velocity you were discussed with only one chirp, but in that Texas documents, if you take the velocity, they are not with one chirp they are doing. They are taking the next chirp also.
Yes, ma'am.
With the
Yes,
next
ma'am.
chirp only, they are trying to find out the velocity.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
So it's
I was
So
talking
in that
same as
about.
case,
this thing.
yeah, in that case, whatever you discussed, right? That
Yes,
4
ma'am.
points, you won't get that 4 points.
Okay, that we'll get only 2 points.
Only 2 points. See,
Okay.
when you are using only one chirp, that problem comes.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
4 point, we don't know what to take, whether it is a ghost target or original target. But when you analyze the velocity with the help of two chirp, there is only single point.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Velocity you can identify. Yes, Aditya.
Ma'am,
Yours.
ma'am, actually, one second, ma'am, I'll show you.
Hmm.
Actually, we get with two chips only, ma'am, like 4 points. Like for example, in the
No.
up chip, if we are having two targets, we'll get two in up chip and two in down chip.
No, you're telling move up and down. I'm talking about one triangular itself as a chip.
Okay.
Okay, one triangle itself as a chip means it consists of both up and down.
Okay, ma'am, got it.
Okay, so it means two chirp. So two triangular waveform.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
So with the two triangular waveform, if you want to find, we have to do a 2D.
Yes, ma'am. 2D FFT.
2D FFT.
Yes, ma'am.
When you go for the angle, we have to do 3D.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right. So it means we are going to limit now at present with only FFT.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So don't go for other algorithm. So if we are limiting to FFT, so what should be my size of FFT?
Yes, ma'am. That's like the basic thing we have to find to like see if we will be able to compute it now.
Yes, how
Update
to
time,
find out this n is, first of all, you try to see how the packets are coming. It is not coming as a waveform, it is coming as a packet. In that packet, it consists of many chirp,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So from that, because if you want to decode that packet, okay, we should know the format. That format they have given, right?
Yes, ma'am. They have given.
Yes, ma'am.
So that format we have to understand. So when it comes to the packet, from the microcontroller point of view, that is our microprocessor, how I am going to depacketize it and how I am going to take the chirp and going to process.
Yes, ma'am.
These are the things we have to concentrate. Okay. Another one, if it is in the DSP processor, to write a FFT code is very simple.
Okay, ma'am.
Because blocks will be available. Okay. Now we are going to do it in a microprocessor where it
Yes, ma'am.
doesn't support any signal processing toolbox,
Yes,
signal
ma'am.
processing block. So it means how I am going to implement this FFT in the microprocessor. Is there any code is available?
Yes, ma'am. That we have to find like
Those are the things only we have to concentrate now.
yes, ma'am. Like the
Take
FPG.
this stuff simple. How that is properly we are going to utilize the processor for finding the range velocity.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the one we have to concentrate. So we are fixing it only FFT. At present, we don't go for other method. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So from the FFT, how to process this FFT in your microprocessor. So code you have to find out.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
fast this FFT operation that microprocessor will do. Can I find out with one chirp or two chirp computation, how fast I can compute?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so those are the part we have to concentrate.
Okay, ma'am.
So one person try to understand the packet format in which that trans receiver is going to give it to the microprocessor.
Okay, ma'am.
Another person from that packet how to take the chirp or depacketize to go to
Like-
only to the data.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how to do this? One person concentrate on, is there any code available for FFT to do it in the microprocessor? Because writing by ourselves, it will take some time. If it is not available, then we have to do that also.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so is the code is available or not? So when code is available, there is a microprocessor in the websites, some online itself, the microprocessor controllers are there. There we can do it and check how much time it is taking and all.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then we can go when processor comes, it will easy for us to implement. No need to do the studies that time. So definitely they will ask this question. How fast you can do? How it is compatible with this? Your trans receiver is compatible with this processor. So those points we should able to answer.
Okay, ma'am.
So packet are coming with the data size, this much data size, and my processor is working with this clock speed. Okay, how to match these two? With this matching of this one, once data is I'm depacketized, how fast I will be computing my R, that is range, and the velocity.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so range with one chirp and velocity with two. So with the 4 data, how we are going to combine antenna data, how we are going to combine.
Yes, ma'am.
So with packet itself, you should able to identify which antenna that chirp is belongs to. Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
because we are going to get a same chirp at different phase.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes,
Okay. So we have to identify which are the chirp, which antenna is transmitting the chirp. Those informations and all we have to see in detail.
okay, ma'am.
So your next one, it should be concentrating on packet explanation, how we are
Yes,
going
ma'am.
to depacketize, how we are going to do the FFT in microprocessor. So how both the speed we are going to match and how fast we are going to find out this R and. So within a chirp we have to find out, right? So
Yes,
is
yes,
it
ma'am.
possible to do that or not?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
So, ma'am, we can fix that 3D FFT method, ma'am. That's
Yes.
mentioned in the Texas Instruments.
Texas, yeah, we will fix that one.
Okay, ma'am.
First we will see 2D.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2D whether we could able to do it process or not. Then for angle and all, angle when two target is moving same velocity and all, we won't demonstrate that the real scenario if it is okay. As a model, we cannot explain those things, right? Practically we cannot show that with the modeled one. 2-1 moving with the same velocity and all.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So first we will concentrate on 2D. If we are able to success on 2D, then we can add on the 3D to show that even in this scenario, two target are moving with the same velocity. This can find out this 3D. We are using a 3D FFT to find out that.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so first we will prove with 2D range and velocity only. Then we will see with the 3D, that is we will use the antenna information also to find out the same range, same velocity, how to differentiate with the help of angle of arrival.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have to move in this direction. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So Reshma, anything you want to add on it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay then. Okay, then
Actually,
bye.
Manoj sir
I'm
also has
sorry.
joined it just now.
Yeah, I just joined, but I think Dr. Vani they has been telling you the correct thing, that the two directions that you need to look into. But I would suggest you can look into the Shakti processor help pages, whether they have any existing implementations of FFT module available within the instruction set of Shakti processor. That can simplify your job.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We'll look for it.
You can also email them. Sometimes they will actually give somebody else contact information who must have already done FFT if it's already existing. So that will save our time if they can help on that information.
Yes, sir.
So anything else, sir?
Nothing. I think I just want to rush through the slides one time so that I can just get the
Yeah, you can go
just
through.
very quickly. If we can just show slide through. You don't need to explain. Slide through. That will be good.
Sir, just a second. Yes. So, sir, actually, we were explaining different DSP methods that were used in the literature, sir. So this is one
Yeah,
of the methods.
have you looked at, with respect to the chip that you are using for FMCW?
Yes, sir. Like both, sir. Like with that can be used and that are popularly used, like in current systems.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
Go
this
quickly.
this method is actually for single target and stationary objects, sir. So this might not be useful for us.
Yeah.
So these are some of the issues like clutter and noise and ambiguity problems, sir, for multi-target detection. Yeah, these are range and velocity resolution, sir, from like how to calculate them.
Okay.
And for explaining ghost targets, range velocity plots, sir.
Okay.
This is for like angle measurement, sir, azimuthal angle measurement.
Okay.
So these are some of the trade-offs, sir. Like we need to reduce RF overloading, update time, and ghost target mitigation. This is the trade-off. So there was actually a method proposed, sir, 3-segment method. But as ma'am said, I think it is best to stick with the like typical 3D FFT and 2D FFT approach, sir, for this.
Okay.
And these are some of the other techniques, sir, like that are used in literature popularly.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, continue.
Yes, sir. This
Okay,
was the
so
last slide.
This is the last slide. Okay.
Yes.
So, have you looked into the FMCW chip pin layout, or what are the interface pins that the chip is giving, or anything like that?
Yes, sir.
Any updates on that?
So like the output it gives is in form of CSI interfacing. Like we use CSI interfacing, and like the speed at which we get data is variable from 150 Mbps to 600 Mbps. Like depending upon the chip that we are using, and like this information is only we got, and
150 Mbps, small b or capital B?
the small b.
Small b. Okay. And
So
we
this,
have 4 channels, right? 3 channels.
what's
Four,
it?
four,
4 channels.
four, four.
4 channels, and this is per channel or together?
So most possibly together. So
But
here we
that
can
seems
see this.
lower rate. So, if I remember, one channel I meant was this short range, medium range, and long range. So,
Yes, sir.
that's what I mentioned as 3 channels. But what is the 4th channel?
4th channel, no, sir. Like the radars doesn't work simultaneously on like all those three aspects. Like
Mhm.
at a time, it can work as only either long range, short range, or medium range only.
No, but that chipset that we saw had
Yes, sir.
been giving multiple channels which can probably operate in parallel, right?
Yes, sir. Like CSI interfacing has like it always comes with multiple channels, right?
No.
Sir, actually,
Mhm.
what they are doing is 4 receiver antennas
Mhm.
are there. From the 4 receiver antenna, after taking, they are making it as a packet and they are sending.
Oh, okay, okay, fine.
Like
So
the
it
Okay.
can.
So from that packet, we should able to understand for which antenna transmit which one, how they made the packet. So without knowing the packet formation, without studying that how they made the packet, we cannot tell other stuffs and
Okay,
all.
okay, fine. I
actually this is
understand.
the diagram they have given, like
Mhm.
how packets are formed. This is what we need to understand first. After
Okay.
that, like we'll be able to move forward.
Mhm.
So like studying like
Most of the all real time one they are using this one, sir. Recently, I have many application they are using this
I
format.
see. I see.
You tell the name of that format,
the
CSI2 transmission
CSI2.
format here.
Yeah.
So like which resources, like are there resources we can use to get more information about this interfacing?
Mhm. I see. Yeah. Okay. So if you understand the packet format, that will be very useful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like here you can see there are 4 data lanes, and like each data lane has a speed of 150 to 600 Mbps. So data we will be getting will be like data rate will be like from 150 into 4, like 600 Mbps to 2400 Mbps.
Mhm. I think that's good progress. CSA stands for Camera Serial Interface. That was designed by the mobile phone industry to communicate between the camera and the mobile phone processor. So this is
Yes.
actually an improved version 2.0 standard. So
Sir, it is not only for camera, sir. Many application I have seen.
yeah,
For many
now
application, they are using this format.
I see.
Like initially it was for camera, and now this 2.0 is for any image processing sensor.
Okay. Okay. So how are we going to proceed now?
So like most basic thing will be understanding CSI to like transmission format.
Hmm.
After that, once we understood that, we can like easily see what is the data that we are going to transmit, and how to like get back the information that we need.
Now, how to match your speed of your processor and this one,
Yes,
Yes,
transceiver.
that
yes,
also.
sir. We need to check if we are able to process within a single chip the information that we need, the beat frequencies and all,
Okay.
and like
I need to
the
find out the
update.
FFT part.
Yes,
Hmm.
sir.
Okay.
Manoj sir, I told them in 4 ways. One is they should find out the feasibility of FFT in microprocessor.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that they because main thing they are going to concentrate on FFT block. So 2D,
Yeah.
3D FFT. So they should know in microprocessor how to implement this FFT. Next one is they have to see the
Right.
speed between the transceiver and the processor. Okay, how to match this one.
Okay.
Next one, they from the because here 4 antenna datas are there in the packet. So which are the chips correspond to which antenna?
Okay.
Okay, there are many. So it means we have to understand the data packet, packet
Hmm.
formation in detail.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So this,
So these are the one they have to concentrate.
yeah, I think that's a
Anything if I missed,
plan.
you can tell.
Hmm. So there is a C programming interface for this Shakti processor, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. An IDE similar to Arduino.
Okay. Now, if we have a FFT program written in C, we will be able to compile and get the microprocessor code for Shakti, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So
C
in
is
case-
available.
Yeah,
C for
so
FFT is available.
C for FFT is potentially available. So that's one
Hmm.
easy way you can speed up the programming activity. Okay, fine, good. Anyway, next week is probably you have quiz, but many of you may finish your quiz early because of the elective classes. So you can probably work on that once the busy schedule is over.
No, sir. We are not having electives this semester.
Okay.
They
Like
are third year only.
Yeah, third year. Okay, fine.
exam will be over by next Monday only, sir.
So when is your quiz getting over? Next Monday?
Yes, sir.
28th.
28, yes, sir.
Fine.
Anyway, October 15th.
No, ma'am.
Aditya,
October 10th. October
October
10th we have to
10th.
submit. Yes, ma'am.
So
What is that? October?
Abstract submission.
Abstract. Okay. Any size restrictions they have mentioned on abstract? Have they mentioned any size limit or anything? No, it must be
Sir,
very
let me
brief
check.
only, I think. Yeah. Okay, good.
So it means another 2 weeks after quiz one, only 2 weeks are there for you people.
Right.
So at least for writing the abstract, we should know the processor, how we are going to handle and all, because you will be having a quiz also, right? Regarding this competition for
Yes,
first
ma'am.
phase crossing. So
Yes,
definitely these questions, hardware related questions, definitely they will ask.
Yeah.
Okay, so that part, it should be very clear for you.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Like we'll try to work on these 4 areas that you asked us to work in this, ma'am. Like practical issues, like how to interface and all, and like yes, ma'am. We'll work on this 4 issues.
Like
Okay.
2000 word is the limit. 2000
Yes,
words.
it's given.
2000 words.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. for
Okay,
the
ma'am. See,
abstract.
like date has been changed. Initially it was 10th. Now it has been changed to 25th October.
Oh,
We
very
have
good.
Oh, okay, fine.
Then you have enough time. Then you concentrate. 1 week you concentrate for your quiz.
yes.
Right, correct. Yeah, that's very important.
Then okay, after quiz you just make a schedule and tell us what is the progress. We will see.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you,
bye.
sir.
Okay. Bye.
Hello, when did they postpone that?
Yeah, they
Like
postponed